Hope everybody is doing well, because apparently, if you cannot win in the state of North Carolina, you don't have to worry. You'll get a job in the Trump administration, because Mark Walker, who is going to be trying to be the governor of North Carolina and all in that space, is now going to be taking a job with Trump. They announced that earlier today, and I think that he's supposed to be reaching out to the minority community and the evangelical community as well, because apparently he's supposed to be finding ways to get some inroads into those communities. But like I said, he was going to be, I think, in his own seat, facing a runoff. And then, of course, he was one of the candidates, along with Mark Robinson and others, that was trying to be the governor of our fair state here in North Carolina. But like I said, as I was looking at things online earlier, as I was out and about enjoying this nice weather, and all along this lines, I did see that he has been given a job in the Trump administration. And I don't think that either me or Sasha will be trying to get any jobs in the Trump administration if he should win, and we don't think that he will win. But I don't think either of us are fans of his, so I don't think we'll be trying to lobby for those jobs. But apparently Mark Walker wanted the job, shook hands with him, and he's supposed to be the person that is the point person to go get him some votes in the minority community, even though I don't think he's a member of the minority community, and in the evangelical community. So he's got this like outreach job that Trump has given him. So Trump has hired Mr. Walker for a job and everything. So apparently he's going to help him with the campaign. We'll see if it does him any good, but that's his job, is to help him with the campaign. So apparently, if you don't win in any office, whether it's here or whether it's in California or even other parts of the United States, you can find a job in the Trump campaign and all along those lines. I don't know what he's paying him with, because as you said several times, he's broke and he doesn't have any money, and he's gonna need all the money he has to pay off his legal fees. So Sasha, where's he getting the money to pay these folks?
Well, by the way, there is upcoming change in the slogan of MAGA, Make America Great Again, into Make Trump great again, or make Trump rich again.
Okay.
That. So that will be from now on slogan of Republican Party. Now, why there will be no jobs in Trump's administration? Because there will be no such thing as a Trump administration. And when somebody is taking job with Trump now, number one preoccupation is how to get paid and when to get paid. But again, that's really not so important. What's important is, I'll tell you the story which is developing around Trump and TikTok. It's much more complicated than people would think. Some of it is already well-known factors, that Trump was one for several months, was trying to, not months, probably years, who was trying to ban TikTok in the United States. And for about 4 days ago, he changed his stance on that and saying, that's not a good idea, because obviously the competitors, such as the Facebook, they will benefit from it, and Facebook is a situation, the company that has to be forbidden a long time ago, so we don't want to help Facebook, and it's not a good idea. So let's vote that not to ban. So a lot of Republican people in the Congress, they were shocked by that revelation, and they were really very much upset that all of a sudden in one day you can absolutely change your rhetorics, and you expect hundreds of voting members in the Congress to follow you just because you said so. That didn't work out at all, and Trump lost badly the vote. But there are a few things on the background that we have to understand. Number one, he had a meeting just a few days ago prior to that with one of the big shareholders of TikTok. Now, TikTok is a company, it's registered in Cayman Islands. And one of the Trump friends or associates, I don't know which is more applicable, he owns, I figure out that it's about 10% of the company, but I could be wrong because the evaluation of the company is about 350 plus $1 billion.
Right.
And the stake that this shareholder has valued about 30 billion. So roughly it was like 10% or so, but again, it could be slightly more, slightly less. I'm not so sure about that figure. However, that's not the end of story. Now that this is a vote in Congress, it has to go to Senate.
Mm-hmm.
And Chuck Schumer told Mike Johnson, who asked him to vote a certain way or so on, he said, "Not so fast, my friend. For how long you were stalling help to Ukraine for several months, and you expect us in a few days to do what you ask us to do? No, it's not going to work, my friend." And then something else came to the attention of people who are looking inside of all this transaction. Apparently, remember the Steven Mnuchin, who was a financial guy in Trump administration. He is now putting together a consortium which will buy TikTok controlling interest. And of course, Trump would have a certain share of that windfall. So now is what they want to do. They want to perfect the ban of TikTok, make it for sale. Mnuchin and his financial friends will acquire it. Trump will have a part of it. And that's how Trump will make rich again. Okay,
Become rich again and everything. Hey,
rich again, possibly, but most likely
possibly.
it's not going to happen.
Yep, that's his plan and everything.
It's his plan. He has many plans, and so far, everything what Trump touches is becoming a disaster for himself and for investors and for whoever, whatever he's touched in all his life became a disaster, fell apart, money were lost, and that will be just continuation of the same. So, Republican Party in the meantime is running for cover. I think people resigning almost like every day. People are walking away from this bedlam. The RNC has a fraction of money what Democrats have. Biden, in an hour and a half after his speech on the address of the Union, State of the Union, he raised $30 million in an hour and a half, and this is more than RNC has now in its coffer. They don't even have that. So this all spells the end of Republican Party, as we know, and Trump, he will end up in jail one way or another, and so normal people, they are trying to run away from Republican Party, specifically from Trump. And by the way, what's his name? Mike Johnson, the Trump's puppy. He already indicated that he's willing to bring new package for Ukraine and Israel, and that's what they're working now. And Schumer said, "No, my friend, we already proposed the package. All you have to do is to bring it for vote." So that's what a real situation is about Republican Party and Trump in particular.
It sounds good and everything. Hey, Kim, it seems that Kim has joined us, and all along those lines. And that being said, one of the things that I was bringing up early in the show was this notion of Mark Walker, who is here in North Carolina and was going to be running or maintaining his Senate seat, I believe it is that he has. It might be a House seat, but he was also trying to be governor, and he just took today a job with the Trump administration. Apparently, he's supposed to be reaching out to the evangelical community and the minority community. So he's supposed to be a liaison for Mr. Trump. So I just wondering, are you going to be running out there to try to get any jobs with Mr. Trump, since apparently he's coming down to North Carolina to find people to work for him, and all along those lines, since that candidate was a failed candidate, just like Trump has been a failed candidate on a couple of things and some failed businesses, as Sasha just said. So are you ready to go work for Mr. Trump, and will you be running out to get a job with him?
No, I don't think he would hire me. I think he would have me shot, but I don't think Trump would hire me, right, Sasha? I mean, I'm a ODD with him, as Nick would call it. That I have a defiance disorder with Trump. In fact, they'll probably name that TDD, Trump Defiance Disorder. But I think that there's just so many things going on right now in the world that are more important than what they're doing. I mean, it is quite interesting with all the stuff with TikTok and Twitter and the social media and how they're going to manipulate it. And I attended a comedian show the other night, and I went back and played some of his old videos back from the early 90s. And one of the things that caught my attention is how much the comedians were putting Fox down back then for manipulating the news and manipulating the political news that we were getting. I just thought that was very interesting. So, they still do that. So, I mean, there's no doubt. So we all know, okay, hear me out on this. We all know that whoever's in the media the most will get elected. That's just the way that's going to happen. And when I met with Elaine Marshall back during the first campaign that Trump had, she said the same thing. She said, well, whoever gets in the newspaper the most will win. And it happened to be Trump. I mean, I could look on every page, including the sports. And I'm like, how on earth did he get in the sports? So it's interesting because I know we don't have newspapers anymore. So I think all of this manipulation that you see going on right now with social media is them just trying to get their face plastered in social media as much as possible, because that is the new news form. And, I think, again, none of them are speaking about patriotism, and they're all politicians. They're not about policies. They're all about their party. And that's sad, because we need somebody who's going to go in and start making things right, finding the solutions and making them right. And so far today, we don't have anyone to do that, including RFK. I mean, come on. And who is a Kennedy would run for office? Really? I mean, anytime a Kennedy has chosen to run for a higher office, it doesn't end out good for them. And I think that's one of the reasons why Caroline Kennedy had withdrawn her campaign years ago. JF Jr., he was going to run for senator. He owned a magazine and was going to run for senator when he all of a sudden died. So, I mean, I just think the Kennedys ought to stay out of politics, write books that some people want to read. And, but I think we need real people working on these problems. Sasha, you're looking great. You got a tan going on. Like, you glow now. I need to go to Aruba. I am going to Bali. So
I'm already working on my next trip to Aruba, looking at different options. It's a fantastic place, absolutely. Every which way you look, it's absolutely incredible.
Have you thought about moving there?
No, I don't think that I will move there. Specifically, what I'm doing, I can do from Aruba just as well. I did quite a few trades while being in Aruba, and the latest NVIDIA report was when I was in Aruba, and it was really funny. I was on the beach and I was watching my iPhone, and so report was published. There was very little movement in the stock, and then it went down $20. They had negative report? Cannot be. And in a matter of 30 seconds, it went up $20 and $30 and $40 and $50 or so on. So I could trade there, and in fact, I could possibly move there. I have to really probably give some thoughts. But I love. See, the problem is that if I will move there, of course, I don't think I will be able to stay in 5-star all-inclusive property. I can rent nice apartment there, but they would have swimming pool or so on. But then I would still have to get some transportation to get to casino and so on. So I don't know. I have to really figure out. Next, my trip, I will start looking at property to rent. Probably I would not move. I would just rent a property for a few months.
So like you said, you don't get that 5-star treatment. So
Mhm.
kind of thought, provoking there to think about, well, do I really want to live here if I can't get that 5-star treatment? And how are the politics there? I mean, seriously, are they as up in the air about things as we are?
See, the thing is that they use 4 languages in Aruba. It's English, Spanish. Spanish probably should be number 1. English, Dutch, and Papiamento. And almost all people, they speak all 4 languages. It's scary. But you can get by English, there's no problem at all. Now, about politics, they think it's a funny kind of thing, especially U.S. politics. They have quite a few Americans there, and those Americans who moved there, quite a few of them, and some others, like from New York. I had a couple in a casino. They were playing the same games than I did, and we spoke, and they rent apartment. It cost them about $4,000 a month. Nice, very comfortable apartment, not far from casino where we played, and they spent there about 5-6 months a year. And then they spent time in New York, of course, that's where they're coming from. Have children, grandchildren, and all that stuff. And they said, look, we all have to do just to please ourselves, because our children are grown up, the grandchildren are finishing school or already in university. So nobody really needs us. It's just we need ourselves. That's all. That's really good attitude, and there is something to think about that. That's for sure.
Well, and we got to think about those kind of things as you grow older and your kids maybe move farther away. It's harder to see them. What do you do with your spare time? And these are some things too that we need to consider as we're looking at the political campaign. Is whoever we're putting in office looking out for our future, right? And right now, I don't see much hope for our future with what we have in office, and especially if Trump comes in. But I was looking at some reviews about Trump, and it was interesting to me to learn that a lot of the people really don't want him back in office. And the people who do are just Trump fans. They're, oh, he did a great job before, fight, stinks, attitude. But it had nothing to do, and they go, well, my check was better, or I had a job. And I mean, granted, a lot of people I know, they've lost their jobs this year. A lot of people I know are not getting very good support from the government like they should. But, and we're all worried about our Social Security or, our retirement. But I just don't think Trump is the answer. I think he was the problem. I think he was the cancer that got embedded, and it has just been slowly spreading. And a lot of people don't see that. A lot of people don't see that, when you have something, it takes years. When something happens, it takes years to see the results. And I think that a lot of the pain that we're living through is, Biden still trying to clean up from the mess that was created.
Well, if a Republican Party will fall apart, which most likely will happen very soon, then Biden is becoming president by default. There will be nobody opposing him. But let's think about, is Biden really that bad? If you will get away from all the noises by Republicans and Trump and so on. Biden is doing very credible job. He's not perfect, I would say, but he is a mature person, mature politician, and he can steer the ship and have it all together. He has ability to do it. He has great experience, and State of the Union address showed that he has a lot of fire left in him just as well, and he exceeded all expectations. Actually, he did even better than a year ago, which was very good address. But this time he just bested himself. So. Now talk about the third parties. See, third party has no chances. It doesn't matter who is going to be the head. You can even put Nikki Haley as third party candidate. They have no chances. They will not win even one electoral college. All they can do is become a spoiler, and it could benefit Biden or it could benefit Republicans. I'm not sure even which way. There will be more spoilers than that, but that's the only thing what they can do. There is no chances whatsoever. So people seriously discussing, oh, if we will bring this guy here and that guy over there and so on. Come on, this is a childish approach. There is no chances whatsoever, and I don't even think there will be spoilers. I think there will be nothing. Nothing, nothing. That's all. Doesn't matter
Yeah.
how talented they are. So absolutely.
I think it's interesting though, because, Trump said, we will make them pay. We're going to make them pay. And now you see, that a lot of the Trump leadership taking over certain organizations, and they're firing people who probably were more Democratic supportive, or against Trump. Maybe not even Democratic, but just a Republican against Trump. So, I mean, do you think we'll see a lot more of that if he does make office? That we're going to see a lot, or even if he doesn't, are we going to see people who are Trump fans that in leadership firing a lot of people because they were Democratic? Are we going to start seeing that?
No, I think that very soon we will witness the end of Trumpism. This old guy will run out of money. He will be prosecuted one way or another. At least one trial he will lose before the election. And who will need at the time the old destitute idiot who lost everything in his life? Whatever was there to lose, he lost everything. So people will stop just paying attention to him at all. He will be in oblivion, and he will be not needed by anybody. Now remember that now Republicans are making super PAC, which will start with $50 million. And the only purpose of it, make all possible for Trump not to become a president of the United States. I'm talking about Republican super PAC, and there will be more and more of that. You will see very soon. But one is already formed, $50 million there. Trump doesn't have that money.
But I think the Americans made their choices for Trump and Biden to be the two on the ticket. I mean, I don't know quite what's all going on in that spectrum all the time, but and I think it would take an act of God to knock them off the ticket. But just looking at our choices yet again, I just don't see much future for America. I think I might pack my bags and go to Aruba.
Aruba is a great choice.
Spend 4 years, get a 4-year vacation package. wait this wave out and come back and see what happens, because I just think we saw what happened last time Trump lost. I can't imagine what will happen this time if he loses. I literally can't even fathom it. Nothing happened to him. I mean, it's been almost 3 years and nothing happened to him or any of the people really that caused the insurrection. I mean, it just makes no no sense to me what's going on. You know, all we are is smoke and screens, a lot of drama, a lot of finger pointing, and we just need to start focusing on some common sense. And
Say thanks to Supreme Court, which helps Trump any way they can, but even they will not be able to get him out of all his
well,
trouble.
think about this. Our I don't even think our forefathers expected this, but with the Supreme Court, we are literally being governed by unelected officials in the Supreme
Absolutely.
Court. They're unelected. They're not for the people or by the people.
No.
They are for and by the president, whoever assigns them. And that, you know, and there's no term limits on them. That's a retirement package right there. So whoever gets in is just a party favor. It has nothing to do with, you know, the patriotism of our country and the justice of our country. And I think I think that's the first thing that needs to be changed. And I know that, you know, they'll probably put a hitman on me after this, but if you think about the most important one of the most important positions of our country is non-elected, and they make decisions for us, you know. And I just don't think, how can somebody who's unelected be making decisions for all the people? You know, they're making decisions for whatever president put them in position. And then I just,
Look, it took them few days to make a decision that Trump should stay on the ballot, and it was 9-0 decision in Colorado, and therefore all other states. Okay. Now, the obvious decision that Trump doesn't have a full absolute immunity, they delayed by 54 days in
wow.
such critical times that elections are coming closer and closer, and they took 54 days. And it doesn't mean that they will announce their decision in 54 days. They will start listening to oral arguments. So decision about total immunity of president may come later on in the summer, June, July. So there could be even no time for trial because everything is on hold before the question of immunity will be discussed. Now, if indeed president has a full immunity, I would, if I were Biden, I would just put all the Supreme Court people in jail. Let them get lawyers and prove that they're innocent, that they haven't done anything wrong, or so on. It will take 2.5 years. In the meantime, he would appoint a new Supreme Court, and that would be the end of the story. So, provided, of course, that he has full immunity. According to Trump, president has a full immunity. Now, in
Yeah,
the
but you
Biden
know,
case,
Trump lives in his own dream world most of the time too. You know, he would always say, "Oh, I'm going to change this law," and I was like, "You can't just walk in and change that law. You got to go through everything like we do. Just because you're president, I mean, your job is to push that stupid red button if you have to, and you know, convince people to vote certain ways, but." You know, they think they are a king and they're not. They're supposed to be working for us. They've forgotten what this was about. The president, the government, the people in the government, they've forgotten who they're supposed to be serving. We are not king and queen. We are, the president is supposed to roll his sleeves up and help. I mean,
well,
that's
he
what the
rolls his
president
sleeves,
get framed. Go ahead.
he rolls his sleeves out, but for himself, not for the United States. In fact, he is in contact with Putin, and all this delay to help Ukraine, it's a part of the big deal that without help, Ukraine will fall, and Putin will triumph in Ukraine, and then he could go ahead against Baltic states or some other countries. And of course, at the end of the day, if and ever Trump would become a president, that would be a huge payout to him and this Papi Johnson and all the other people who definitely helped Putin so much. But even that is not going to happen. You see, I think of it's American Constitution and a system of government designed that way that even if it will fall apart and it will go and have so many wrong steps, at the end of the day, it will recover and it will right itself. And that's what we will witness very, very soon. You'll see.
I
Yeah,
hope
just
so.
really quickly, I popped in, but I guess Trump didn't want me to talk to you, fine folks, and everything along those lines. But I did see in the news, and I'd love to hear y'all thoughts about this, the fact that there might be some delays in New York because apparently there's that whole hush money trial, and the New York district attorney is supporting a 30-day delay, and they're even talking about that they might be willing to delay the trial until late April. So it'll definitely be taking place in the midst of the elections, but who knows if we'll actually get a conviction or a decision before the elections are there, as they are even willing to do a 30-day delay. So is this a good thing that the Democrats are doing? Because I think that's a Democratic district attorney, or is this actually playing into Trump's hands? So what do you think?
What is the reason for delay?
They just said that they're willing to delay it because apparently they had asked for the delay. So the Manhattan DA had asked for a delay. So my guess is that they're trying to build a stronger case and everything. So definitely that would be my guess. And even in Florida, the Trump Florida judge, Judge Cannon, is saying that he is hinting that a dismissal is unlikely. So they're having the classified document case here and there in Florida, and they've said that there's all kinds of traffic jams down that way. But my guess is that they're trying to build solid cases in that kind of space.
Could be, could be. I've never heard about that. I know that Trump requested delay, and he was brushed aside by the judge. But the change of position is what you say. Maybe I'm not. I don't know about that.
Yeah. Well, there's a popular issue that I know a lot of women and a lot of men have been concerned about. I know Nick has brought it up a couple of times, but apparently Kamala Harris is going to do something that has never been done before. So she is actually going to tour an abortion clinic in a historic first for a VP. And they announced that earlier today. And I think that that was in the New York area. So is this abortion issue going to be a major issue? And is this a good political move on her part to go visit this abortion clinic and all along this line? So she's actually going to go and tour an abortion clinic. And like I said, I'm thinking that it'll be in New York. I'm actually looking it up to see exactly the location, but they saying that this is a first time that a sitting president or a VIP has been known to do it, and it's actually in Minnesota. So she's traveling to the land of 10,000 lakes as part of her Fight for Reproductive Freedoms tour, and stopped at a St. Paul Planned Parenthood location that offers abortion services. So definitely she met with staff and spoke to reporters and was greeted by the clinic's chief medical officer, Dr. Sarah Traxler, and the Minnesota Democratic governor, Tim Walz. But definitely I'm thinking that particularly those on the right side of politics, or the right wing side of politics, will probably be using this as fodder, because you mentioned it earlier, Kim, how a lot of people are playing on this notion of spirituality and religion, and this being a moral society that we are in, and all in that kind of way in their campaign slogans.
I'm it keeps going in and out. What was the last part of that question?
I was just asking, do you think the Republicans will try to maneuver this into a way to manipulate it so that it hurts the Democrats?
Yeah, and I mean, just because you're touring a clinic of any kind doesn't mean that you're for that clinic. It could be, I always say if you're against something, become informed about it, right? And so we need, Kamala, we don't know her full position on something. I don't think she speaks her voice on it one way or the other as much. I know my biggest concern right now are the amount of deaths and dangers that are happening to the young women who are deciding to do abortions regardless of it being made offered. I think abortion clinics are important. I know that we have issues with the ones that are offering them. And then we have, of course, the Republicans going around and advertising fake abortion clinics and luring women in to the fake abortion clinics. So we've got, and that right there, that should be an arrest. That should be illegal. That part, if I don't care if you're Republican or not, or Christian or whatever, to falsely advertise abortions like that, it should be illegal. But we you know, it's sad that this has come down to this, but nobody cares about the babies when they're born. And I wish, instead of looking just at the abortion clinics, seeing how we don't really have the right to have an abortion in this country, maybe they should be looking at places where, that fund the mother to have the baby and take care of the mother and the child until they can, pretty much sustain on their own. Because right now, the way that they did this, the men are not financially liable for the baby at all. Men are not financially liable for the baby. So you can't get an abortion. And if you can't afford it, you can't pay for it, you're in trouble. And speaking of trouble, the
I'm innocent.
troublemaker.
I'm innocent. I'm innocent. I'm an innocent
Troublemaker's
man.
back.
I am innocent man. So yeah, the game got postponed or canceled or something like that. Anyway, so what are you talking about? I just showed up.
So
to
we
the party
just got finished talking about Kamala Harris going to visit the abortion clinics
in Minnesota.
And do you think that the Republicans will use that against the Democrats?
Why would they use it? I mean, it looks like they have a demarcation there. In other words, the Republicans are anti-abortion and the Democrats are pro women's right to choose, or whatever the heck it is.
They're pro-life, actually. They're pro.
Whatever. So I don't think it's going to change anybody's political views. I think what's going to change anybody is the economy. As Clinton said years ago, it's the economy, stupid. And so the thing is, the real question is, what is the economy going to look like in November? Because we have very short memories. It'll be like October, November. If the economy is booming, then people will vote for Biden. If the economy tanks, you can raise your Trump MAGA flags all over the country because they're going to be in the White House.
Nick, speaking of MAGA flags, and I've got to hear Sasha's idea about this, because this is another political idea. And I know he's not a Trump fan, but he did mention earlier Schumer, and apparently Schumer is getting involved in world politics because the top Democrat, that would be Schumer, has called for a new elections in Israel. So he is basically saying that Netanyahu is an obstacle to peace, and he wants there to be an election or a new election in Israel. So should Schumer be keeping his mouth on this, or should he be keeping it quiet? Sasha, what is your thoughts? Because he is the top Democrat, and apparently he's trying to say, folks, that he's not liking the current leader of Israel and that he is an obstacle to peace, and he wants him out, and he's basically calling for the Israeli people to have a new election. But I just wondering your thoughts on this top Democrat making that statement.
Well, it's in all history of recent United States of America, it was always meddling in other governments, nations, republics, countries, and so on. It's going on and on for all. Now, Israel is a very special case. There is democracy, and people can elect as a leader whoever they want. Furthermore, because of the peculiar nature of Israeli politics, they have several, well over 30 political parties. So Netanyahu may not even win election, but he will be the only one who will be able to form the government. And it looks to me that this is also, you cannot dismiss that unless somehow you will very quickly put him in jail, and so he will not be able to form the government. But even that is highly unlikely. So all the talk of Schumer, okay, it's a political right to move because it will endear him and Democratic Party to all areas of Michigan and some other states where there are a lot of Muslims and so on. It's a good move to appease this audience, but is it for real? Absolutely not.
Yeah. Well, what we should do is also we should talk about the TikTok ban. I don't know if you guys got into that, but it looks like my friend and yours, who's that name, AOC, is against the TikTok ban. And I'm looking for strong, hard evidence as to what China did or is doing that would warrant a ban. This seemed to me to be a very highly political, money grab decision.
You
They're not
probably
doing
missed my opening remarks about Trump. And
Oh, you did. Oh yeah,
Yes.
yeah. No, I
Well,
heard
we
you. I
talked
heard,
about
heard it. Trump is involved, and so that's the reason you're for the ban. But I want to know something hard, so I can go back to my people in China, who we're on Understanding China, which has 125,000 people, and tell them we're banning you because you did something wrong that you haven't done yet, but we think you might do it because we don't like communists, because and we don't like, frankly, we don't like your country, and that's the reason we're banning.
let's
I
start.
mean, you know,
not doing
it's just,
anything.
to me, this is the most
Do you know
anti-American
where the
law I've ever seen.
TikTok company is registered? Where?
Yeah, I think it's registered in Singapore, and it's owned by part of
No,
it's owned by the
Cayman
Chinese government. So what?
Islands. It's registered in
Oh, Cayman Islands? That's even better.
And Trump's friend owns about 10% of that company.
Yeah.
And therefore, he changed 4 days ago, instead of absolute ban of TikTok, he changed his stand all of a sudden. No, you will have just benefit Facebook and others.
Sasha, forget the politics. I want to know what they did wrong.
So
I do
I would
not.
tell you. Let me tell you what's going on. They don't support Trump as much as you think, but I think it's smoke and mirrors. TikTok has done nothing different than what all the other social media does. They don't
Correct.
collect any more data than Facebook. In fact,
Right.
I've had more of my data stolen from Facebook and
Facebook.
Instagram than I have anything else. TikTok has been actually very nice and collaborative with me, with my friends. They don't take them down.
Right.
So
Facebook is horrible.
it's a power play because
Yeah.
Elon Musk is a Trump supporter as well. And who does he own?
Twitter.
Right. So
Yeah.
he took Twitter. So how do presidents win? Think about this. We
Control
always
the
said
media.
whoever's in the media the most, who's in the newspaper the most, but we don't have newspapers. So Trump has got to have something to put his face all over. So they're manipulating all of these social media sites now so that Trump can get his support. That's what I think this is about.
Yeah, to me, this is the biggest farce I've seen since
It
Joe
is.
McCarthy was pointing people to be communists. Part of the reason why is that we've had, since we started our network about 3.5, 4 years ago, we've had such problems with Facebook banning us. They shut me down on one time. They took away 4,000 supporters. They just literally screwed people out of money all over the place that we weren't looking to monetize, but other people were. All over the place, and Facebook gets a pass. They take all your data, it goes into San Francisco, and who knows? They could be selling it to the Chinese government. So when they keep saying, well, it's the Chinese government, they could get a hold of it. Wait a minute. They could get a hold of it through Facebook. Facebook could backdoor all the data over to the Chinese government. Then my thinking is this: if you're going to shut down TikTok, shut down Facebook, please. Because
Well,
and
shut
you know what
all
it
down.
does to the independent producers? They lose. What happens is that people like Zuckerberg and Musk get a stranglehold on the media, and the
That's
easiest way is just get rid of your competition by screaming communists are taking it over. It is such garbage.
I agree
And-
with you. Take
and
them all
it's
down.
even
We're gonna
worse.
take one.
Even worse, the congressmen all voted for it. In the meantime, they didn't have time to vote to give Ukraine any money when there is a smoking gun sitting at your doorstep. They're killing Ukrainians like crazy, and we can't give them any money. But instead, we decide to pick a fight with China, who's not doing jack. This is
Right.
just wrong by Congress. It's wrong by everybody. I don't even use TikTok. I mean, I have no skin in this game or dog in the hunt because I don't even use the thing. But
I didn't like it.
Anybody objectively looks at it can see this is just a big play by big money in San Francisco to screw out all their competitors. So
Well, and I
I'm-
think it's to manipulate the media to vote for a president too. I think that it's going to be the means of how they're going to promote whoever they want to become president. And
yeah.
I think TikTok is more innocent. I think they're more innocent than Facebook, Instagram,
Okay,
Twitter.
and here's the reality, whether people like it or not.
Or X.
Facebook does collect your data. They know where you live. They know what you watch. They know everything about you. It's all on a file. There's nothing stopping from Facebook taking that data and turning it over to the Chinese government. So why don't you shut down Facebook?
So, and let me tell you something. I had to transfer all my stuff on from one phone to the other, and nothing transferred right. So I had to re-log in and re-download mobile apps, and which I don't like. You know, I'm not a fan of them, but you got to do them in order to use certain social media. So I did it, and when I'm doing all of this, I have to start from scratch, and then they go, May we, and this is Facebook, Instagram, and not TikTok. TikTok didn't do this, but they go, we want permission to track all of your information for all of your ads that you do. We want information to track everything that you do this way. So you had to sign a contract for 3 things, and all 3 things I said no. I said absolutely not. You had a choice. So I'm expecting them to kick me off soon, but I said no.
Yeah, Facebook doesn't treat people fairly. One of the few ones I found that does is actually LinkedIn. 4 years working with LinkedIn. LinkedIn has been very fair. They've only taken off one. It's because we had one of our shows was invaded by a hacker and put porno on it, and we couldn't get rid of it in time. So rightfully they took it off. But LinkedIn has been fair all along. Facebook has not been fair. Okay. And Twitter, are you kidding me? That's owned by Elon Musk. And for some reason, that's okay. Tell me why a Republican hack like Elon Musk has the right to dictate all the media in this country. They don't. So he's happy to see TikTok gone because more will come to him. Zuckerberg's happy. Remember, these are both billionaires that are happy to see the competition out. But the independent producers trying to scratch out a living, and we know a lot of them, Kim, they're trying to scratch out a living creating content, they're getting screwed. Congress screwed them. This is one of the few things I agree with AOC. She voted against it. And I've yet to see, and I made this argument before, show me one thing the Chinese government has done wrong in terms of social media, TikTok. Yes.
I have a question, though. If
they don't want Tiananmen Square on, so what? You know.
If you're right, and there is no evidence the Chinese government is doing some illegal
thing,
unfriendly thing to U.S. or whatever, then how come that Trump, for several years, was proponent of the ban of TikTok? Why?
Why is for the ban of TikTok? I have no clue.
Trump for several years until 4 days. He was.
You don't know who's paying Trump for what. I mean, that's the real problem. And Trump is not somebody I would look at for any advice dealing with fair and equitable judicial decisions. So let's take Trump out of the equation. Let's just look at it from a social media perspective. What they do is they're going to eliminate a competitor. Realize if I had a big competitor out there like TikTok, remember. Our friend Zuckerberg is developing his own thing called Reels. YouTube has their own thing, which is this fast media. LinkedIn doesn't really do this, so they don't play in that game. But but Facebook does. So Facebook has Reels. If you can eliminate your major competitor, like Facebook wants to do, why not? And here's the other thing is, and we don't know this, and it was something that I guess an investigative journalist needs to find out. Did Facebook pay lobbyists to pay politicians to vote this bill through? Okay? I'm sure we'll never know about because it's in dark money. But
no, I'm sure there's a serious documentary and everything. No, but I did have a question because I actually was having this conversation with my dad, which would be their granddad and everything. So if they're going to ban TikTok, are they also going to ban the various AI programs that are out there as well? Because a lot of these AIs are not from the country of the United States and everything. So I know when I was talking to my dad earlier, he's talking about how he gets frustrated with my nephews because they spend a lot of time on their video games and they're not necessarily doing educational video games. They're playing like war games and other kinds of games and all in that space. I do know that some of those companies are not based in the United States. They might be in India, they might be in China, they might be in a number of places. So is the ban of TikTok going to stop at TikTok, or are they going to go after these other companies? Because there are a number of companies that are outside of the area. And Kim, you're in that space, or at least you've been in that space before, of technology. And I know that you know that some of these companies are spread throughout the Asian theater and everything. So are we just going after TikTok, or are we going after a number of these companies?
I think they're just going after whatever's politically in their favor. I don't think it has anything to do with whether a company is right or wrong. If, like Nick said, if you're going to take TikTok down for something, take them all down.
Take
I have no
Facebook
problem
down.
with it.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, if they're going to take TikTok down, you need to take Facebook down too. You
On
know,
what grounds? On
pardon?
what grounds, Nick?
And you well, on the same grounds you took down TikTok. I mean, the
No,
thing is, they're collecting
not
people's information.
TikTok
Well,
is
by the way,
perceived.
take down Twitter too, or which is now known as
What
X.
Twitter
Yes.
Get rid
is
of all.
providing any information to Chinese government?
No,
I
they're
don't-
providing information to people in San Francisco, billionaires who can manipulate all the people in the United States, manipulate elections, and basically do their bidding. So that's worse than the Chinese government, who doesn't do anything. So
again,
this
I don't-
whole TikTok ban is wrong now. It's wrong in the 1950s when McCarthy was saying you're a communist,
So
and there's nothing out there that
If we
demonstrates
ban TikTok,
they've done
I'm
anything
gonna
wrong.
ban PewDiePie or I think that's his name, and
PewDiePie.
our good friend here in North Carolina, Mr. Beast, because there are a number of folks that are on social media that are quote unquote influencers, and some of them are political influencers. So we're going to be banning them too if this
Sure,
goes.
why not? Why not? They should ban Mr. Beast while you're at it. You know, in other words,
You know, they're going to go in and fire if Trump makes office, they're going to go in and get rid of everyone that opposed Trump. It's going to be TDD, Trump Defiance Disorder. And I took it. But hear me out on this. You see where they just recently fired everyone at the RNC, or 8 people, not everyone.
I just
but
heard that. Yeah,
they're just going to be firing people left and right. If a congressman is for all the people, they get rid of them. Oh, you're not doing things for the party. So I think that Sasha's right. I think that they will just eventually extinct themselves or cut themselves and bleed themselves till they don't exist anymore. But it still doesn't mean that they won't vote him in as president. I mean, our country's gotten really stupid. But yeah, the RNC just fired 8 people, and you got Laura Trump running it. And saying, whoever, Laura Trump is going, we have to raise more money. We have to raise more money.
For what? To elect Trump. There is no other elections. They have to elect governors, the senators, the House representatives. There are so many different elections. They will have no money for any other election except elect Trump. And Trump is unelectable. He will not be elected. Period. They're wasting their last few rubles, whatever they still have. Putin helps them a little bit here and there. They will go bankrupt. All this, the Republican Party will go into oblivion. They have to get serious. Nick, probably you missed it. The Republican Party, the Republican people who are not happy with Trump, they created a new super PAC that starts with $50 million. Mm-hmm. And the only goal of that super PAC is not to elect Trump as a president. There are no other goals.
They had that same thing when Nixon resigned. That was the death of the Republican Party. And my cousin was the Attorney General of the United States, Bill Saxby, at the time. And Saxby, he did. He then started working for Gerald Ford, in other words, and guess what? The Republican Party is still around. So Nixon resigning, which is supposed to be the death knell of the Republican Party, frankly, it didn't happen. And whether Trump's elected or not, I'm sorry, the Republican Party
Nick,
is
a
not
different
going to go
story.
away.
It's a different
Ain't
story.
Go away.
Republican in time of Nixon, they told him themselves, you have to resign. It was Republicans who made Nixon resign, nobody else. Today's Republicans, they're all cowards.
There's no question about that.
Until recently, though, right now, there is more and more disobedience with Trump. They're making a new super PAC. They start with $50 million. This number is very significant because they have way much more money than RNC. Now, guess what? I already told one of the programs. Joseph Biden, who hardly can talk or walk or anything like that, he raised $30 million in a matter of hour and a half after his speech, the address to union, that he raised this money. So he has tons of money compared to RNC, which is going broke. They already fired 60 people. They put some kind of Trump's supporters here and there. They don't know nothing about how to raise money, what to do, or so on. And Trump himself cannot raise any money anymore.
But the scary thing, Sasha, because I know we only got a few more minutes to go, the scary thing is that there are a lot of people, and even kind of what Nick has alluded to, that will be voting for Trump or will be voting for folks. As a matter of fact, I had a conversation earlier today. The person who is actually one of my coworkers at one of the jobs I work asked me if I was a supporter of Mark Robinson, which we know that's a joke because of his very conservative views and all along those lines. And they said that they felt, and this person seemed to be reasonably sensible, but they said that they thought that he was a sensible person. And we've heard some of the things that he said about the Holocaust not existing and being a Holocaust denier, and some of the things he said about the LGBT community and all along those lines. So that is one of my fears, is that some very sensible people around the country and around this state and just around the world can do some very unsensible things. And we've seen that before, because I did not expect Trump to win the first time, but he managed to win it because of people that were voting to go against the establishment. And I think that's kind of where Nick has been going at and all in that space. So I'm not totally convinced that he won't win. I hope that he won't win, because I'm not a Trump supporter in the least bit, but I've just been shocked by the amount of reasonably sensible people that will tell you that they are Trump supporters.
I would agree with Mark. I mean, it's a real problem in the United States. You're lucky you're in Canada, Sasha, and I'm punching my passport to Europe shortly. So when he comes in, I'll see you guys from Europe at least for the next 4 years, so I don't have to listen to this garbage. You know,
just listen to it for 4 years.
Well, yeah, he'll be in for 4 years, and I'll be over toting around in Europe for 4 years. But the thing is, you're in Canada, so you don't have to put up with this garbage. Unfortunately, if you want to know the perfecta in North Carolina, it has Mark Robinson wins and Donald Trump wins. You got to be crazy to stick around and listen to this nonsense. You know, so anybody with means is going to go to another country for a while and hang out. So I don't have to listen to this crazy country. Now, if they don't, then I'll stick around here for a while. But it is what Mark said is true. There are reasonable people all around the country who are going to vote for Trump no matter what. No matter what we say, what you say, what he does, it doesn't matter. And he might have enough votes to get elected. And this is going to be this is going to be what I tell my dog. This is going to be awful. You know?
Follow the math. The figures are very simple. Trump's base is about 30% of electorate. And he is not increasing his base, that whatever, actually it's diminishing. But okay, 30%, give or take. Now, the undecided, the Democrats, they will all vote against Trump. Because you already see Trump today is for sale. Putin can buy him. The shareholder of TikTok can buy him. Just anybody.
We know that, but the polls are not agreeing what your statement is. The polls are all they give Trump +5. Even Vegas gives Trump +5. If you really believe in it, why don't you do this? Go all in on Vegas on Biden. Good luck, Sasha. I mean, the thing is, right now, that'd be a horrible, horrible bet. So the thing is, the betting man has to look at the odds. The odds are, and every time I put polls on LinkedIn, Trump crushes Biden, you know? And so you can bring all the arguments you want, but man, it looks like if the election was tomorrow, you're going to be going like this, Donald, but you don't have to worry about it. You're in Canada. You're safe, Sasha. I'm not. I sit in North Carolina. Mark Robinson and Donald Trump is the perfecta of disaster. And there's only one way you can get out is you punch your ticket out of here. Unfortunately, I can afford to do it. And I'll come back in about 4 years. I can do all my business off the internet, so it doesn't matter where I live. I told my office in Salt Lake that. But I don't have to sit and listen to his garbage and then pass all their crazy rules, which they'll do, especially if Robinson's the president of North Carolina. Or I mean the dictator, whatever they call themselves here. and I'll be happy on a vacation for 4 years. And then people will figure it out when they realize that they've been screwed. Then they'll vote differently in 4 years from now. But I don't have to worry about it, By the way, there's some great ways in Spain where I'm looking at right now. Interest rates on your house, 2.5%. I'm serious. I can borrow money at 2.5%, 3% maybe on a fix. You get these nice homes in Spain. Matter of fact, I'm looking to spend time in a castle. I may just hang out in a castle for 4 years because I told my dog she's a princess, so might as well spend my time in a castle. Anyway,
you know what?
we're past the hour. We got to go.
We got to go.
What?
We got to go.
We're past the hour. Otherwise, Sean's going to kill us. Where is the thing on this?
You got it?
I got it. We're good. We'll see you in
have a good one, everyone. Take care.
week.
See you next
Bye-bye.
week. Happy St. Patty's.